Chapter 3 today, guys, Franklin Roosevelt. Here we go, Chapter 3, Running for Office. Important Democrats in the Hyde Park area asked Franklin to run for the New York Senate. If he won, he would work in Albany, the state capital. With a famous last name and the money to pay for his own campaign, Franklin seemed like a good candidate, even though most of the voters in the district were Republicans. But he knew that the Roosevelt name wasn't enough. He needed voters to get to know him. So he hired a large, flashy red automobile and asked a popular congressman to travel with him. Off they went, in high spirits, flags flying, the wind in their faces. People enjoyed meeting this friendly young man who talked about honest government. On election day, he defeated his opponent by 1,440 votes. He spent 3 years in the state Senate and became known for being independent. He was not someone who did what the party bosses told him. It was also during this time that he met a newspaperman named Louis Howey. Howey became a lifelong friend and aide. In 1912, Franklin attended the Democrat convention in Baltimore, Maryland. He was backing Governor Woodrow Wilson from New Jersey for president. Wilson won the nomination and went on to win the election in November. Franklin had supported Wilson not only because of his ideas, but also because he hoped to land a job in Washington. That happened almost right away. Franklin was asked if he would like to become Assistant Secretary of the Navy. "How would I like it? I'd like it bully well," he answered. With his love of the sea and sailing, the Navy was just the right place for Franklin. He wanted to learn all he could about the Navy. He talked to everyone from admirals to sailors to builders in the yard. He visited naval stations around the country. It was not unusual to see him climbing up the rigging of the ship as it plowed through the waves. Even top admirals came to respect this young man who had never been in the Navy himself. In 1914, World War I broke out in Europe. In 1917, the United States joined forces against Germany. Franklin urged the Navy to build powerful battleships. It was a proud day when he hammered the first bolt into a brand new battleship in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. It was named the USS Arizona. He also had a sharp understanding of warfare. Franklin convinced the Navy to lay a belt of underwater mines in the North Sea. German submarines had to pass through this area to get to the Atlantic Ocean in order to attack British and American ships. It was late in the war, but by blowing up German subs, the mines kept the ships safer. The war ended in November 11, 1918, with Germany's defeat. Franklin was sent to Paris to attend the Peace Treaty Conference. With the war over, Franklin was ready to return to private life. It was 1920, a presidential election year. To Franklin's surprise, the Democratic candidate for president, James Cox, asked him to run as vice president. Franklin threw himself into the campaign. He visited 20 states by train, traveling 8,000 miles. He spoke to farmers, factory workers, city workers, businessmen, and women who were voting for the first time. Franklin and Cox weren't expected to win, and they didn't. In fact, they lost badly, but Franklin loved the race. All across the country, people got to know his sunny, optimistic man from New York who seemed to have a great future ahead of him. Okay, so now we have him running. He did not win vice president with James Cox, and he supported a guy named Woodrow Wilson for president the year before the 1920 election. So let's remember that he did not win in 1920 as a vice president, and that he supported Woodrow Wilson. And we'll get to that later. Now, make sure you go into courses and you answer the questions that are up. If you have questions, please email me through Schoology. Your parents have my phone number. You have my phone number. If you need me, let me know. Good luck, guys. Hope to see everyone at 4 o'clock. The Emerson teachers are going to come around. I hope y'all will come outside. See you later.